PigeonPostParis. Before I moved to Paris, I didn't like pigeons. At times, I even hated pigeons. Before Paris, I had always misspelled the word pigeon, messing up the vowels, placing a D before the G, as I seldom used it in writing, mostly spoken as a curse. Pigeons! Exclamation mark. I have cursed pigeons sleeping under the ceiling, pigeons waking me up at 5 a.m. with their mating noise. I have cursed them, shushed and waved, when they have approached me while sitting on a park bench, throwing my crumbs to the sparrows, a beast so much cuter to the eye. I never cared much for pigeons. Then came Paris. Paris changed my opinions on pigeons. It was not the first time around that I arrived late at night in a foreign city, only to discover that a given code to a door that I was supposed to pass through was wrong. That someone had muddled the 4 numbers around in their soft memory. However, this time around, it was not during a cold December downpour in Zurich, but rather a late July Parisian heatwave, paired with a broken AC. Which of these 2 conditions are worse is hard to say. If not worse than guessing numbers, what is more pathetic than remembering a temporary home as you pass by a tall building and exclaim, "I too used to live here," and the person walking next to you seems relatively unimpressed, perhaps nodding without even looking up. Ask them later about the color of the building, and they will tell you it was sandy, because all buildings are sandy here. Paris is a desert. Acknowledging someone else's past can be boring, if you are not part of this past yourself. I stare at the code box, hoping for it to unlock itself by the force of my own mind. Sesame, sesame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, how hard can it be? I dig deep in my mnemonic pockets and remember the code to a locked door far away in another city, in another country. 3671B. 3671B. 3671B is a hopeless digital memory. I wonder how many useless 4-digit codes I am storing in my memory. Stale numeric codes that I will never make use of again. I spot the concierge as he is leaving for the night. "What's the code?" I shout, in bad French. He mumbles the correct numbers back in rapid French, which only leads me towards more despair and confusion, leading to more aggression from his side, as he already has 1 foot out the door. I can't do French numbers, I just can't, but I get it. A good night's sleep is worth its body weight in gold. Without the correct code, I'm left standing, staring at a pigeon who is stuck looping in front of the door on 1 leg, just like I am. Do pigeons sleep standing? I guess they do. It's a life hack I wish to learn, as much as I would like to unlearn the numerous 4-digit codes that are taking up my precious brain space. In September 2009, Durban company Unlimited IT reportedly pitted a messenger pigeon against South African ISP Telkom to transfer 4 GB of data 60 miles from Howick to Durban. The pigeon, carrying the data on a memory stick, arrived in 1 hour 8 minutes, with the data taking another hour to read from the memory stick. During the same 2-hour period, only about 4.2% of the data had been transferred over the ADSL link. A similar experiment was conducted in England in September 2010, where the PigeonNet also proved superior. Understanding French is hard enough in itself, but understanding French behind a tightly strung mask is grueling. The way they pull all those small letters together, where to put what, when and how, accents, commas, hyphens. My name is no longer my name, no longer Hanne. Instead, I've been verbally reduced to nothing but a single N. An. 4 letters swallowed in one gulp. An. Unsatisfied. Of course, the H is currently a rather inappropriate letter. Its pronunciation is basically a Trojan horse of respiratory droplets. Behind the mask, the intuitive lip reading is lost, and even though eyes speak for themselves, it never reaches the air, and so I gaze and gaze, and I'm given hand cream for my feet without the receipt at the pharmacy. There is no point of return beyond the letter N. The now. A new normal. No regrets. Only pigeons. Pigeons that live for the now. Pigeons that live for that which is right in front of them, and nothing more. Crumbs, crap, spam, YOLO. When I remain by myself for too long, when I stay indoors, looping my body and brain in this Wolfian room 000, shifting from bed to desk to chair and back again, I imagine that other people's lives must be so much bigger. I feel that my life is ridiculously small, a mosaic of matters insignificant, trivial pastimes such as placing a sweaty shirt in the sink to be soaped up and wrung, the little portion of rice from yesterday, what to do with it, tastes of nothing. Cleaning a room is so much easier when you own nothing. Still, I think about getting an automatic vacuum cleaner, mostly for the sake of the company.
Troisième étage, 3rd floor.
In November 2009, the Australian comedy current affairs television programme Hungry Beast repeated the PigeonNet experiment. The experiment had the team transfer a 700 megabyte file via 3 delivery methods to determine which was the fastest. A carrier pigeon with a micro SD card, a car carrying a USB stick, or a Telstra ADSL line. The data was to be transferred a distance of 132 kilometers by road. The pigeon won the race with a time of approximately 1 hour and 5 minutes. The car came in second at 2 hours 10 minutes. While the internet transfer did not finish, having dropped out a second time and not come back. My writing the past days have been like chewing food with an open mouth in public. Amuse-bouche. It's a thing more than it's a food. The most common indulgences in Paris all start with a capital C. Coffee, cheese, croissants, cigarettes, cocaine, champagne, cream, of all sorts. Dreams of capitalism. Stuff of the reflux. The following day you don't want to know. You have a hard time digesting that plump little cake dunked in the tea of forgotten memories. After a long series of C words, I sleep in until 9:30 on a Monday morning and feel like a total loser. But perhaps I would be more successful if I would let myself go more often. Sleep, drink, forget, enjoy opulent orgies, less the organization of drawers. I buy post-its to keep things in mind, but the summer heat melts off their glue and they fall down and under, becoming a forgotten memory of their own. The man sat across from me during yesterday's dinner claimed that animals kept in farms are just part of a justifiable system of universal labour. Capitalism is a beast too, he exclaims. However, to me nothing is as free as a pigeon sitting at the top of a tree, getting fat on figs. Figs too far away from me to reach with my straight and hungry arm. When the pigeons are full of figs and the tree is empty, they fly away on wings of satisfaction. Hand to mouth, without hands to have. Wings are wishful thinking, if anything. Especially when your returning flight has been cancelled, with only a few hours' notice. The Pigeon Post of Paris was in operation while Paris was besieged during the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 to 1871. The normal channels of communication into and out of Paris were interrupted during the 4.5 months of the siege, and it was not until middle of February 1871 that the Prussians relaxed their control of the postal and telegraph service. For an assured communication into Paris, the only successful method was by the time-honoured carrier pigeon. The Pigeon Post of Paris, PPP. Thousands of messages, official and private, were thus taken into and out of the besieged city. I wonder what to do with myself. As always, my little life, MLL. The few square meters containing my little movements, its spills and thrills, minor movements of both delight and despair, attempting to restrict the reflux of life to a minimum, trapped within walls reverberating my own voice. Walls have ears, not mouths, never teeth. Which park bench to sit down on, if all of them are empty? I can't handle such an extensive excess of choice. Restrictions give a sense of clarity, a relief from the haze. Throughout August, Paris pigeons look sadder by the day. Their grey feathers weathered and worn as if they'd been passed through a public digestive system. The sewer. The infamous Paris sewer. Sewers have ears too and open mouths that spout into a river. The Seine runs through holding the same colour as the railings, a pale tepid green, like dated vomit. The walls are running off with my words. I will never get them back. The wet shirt is wrung and hung to dry. A relieving relocation of stains to past incidents. Show weather in Paris. 31, 31, 36, 34, 39, then weekend. You too can date the city. She's free. A versus D. B instead of C. To and from. It's hard enough not trying to dwell on the past in a city where the past is so present and the present so absent. It's like Venice, minus the sinking. Things take time. TTT, they say, Over and over they say it, things take time. Time takes time too. It's a fact that's even worse to acknowledge than the knowledge of owning things you do not want to know anything about. 3671B. 3671B is not 7328A. 7328A is the key to another door, the key to another possibility, or a past from the blast. I want to displace him from being the center of my universe. If only he could be Neptune instead, blue and distant. If he was blue and distant, I wouldn't care. Neptune never blinds your eyes. Neptune never burns you in the neck. Neptune never wakes you up at the wrong hour. But he keeps on reappearing, in texts and pictures. If the voice is lost, it is the entire image which vanishes. Inner, outer, this ongoing conflicting symbiosis. What is certain is that you need a good source of light in order to fully project an image. Swipe left for the Paris filter. It softens the light, blurring the skin. A look of complete innocence. A rose is a rose, is a rose, is a rose, is a pink tint. When the pigeon reached its particular loft in Paris, the microfilm was carefully unpacked and placed between two thin sheets of glass. The photographs were then projected by a magic lantern onto a screen where the enlargement could be easily read and written down by a team of clerks. The transcribed messages were written out on forms and so delivered. Many of the people who were involved in the Pigeon Post of Paris were honoured for their valuable service to France. But none of the pigeons were ever fully credited. A blind-sightedness replacing a former light-heartedness. I prefer to believe in something intangible and incomprehensible, rather than getting stuck in pragmatism and reason. Still, I try to keep my head cold. Moving objects around in my room, making sense of the blur by seeing what's right in front of me. Pens lined up next to each other, white, black, grey, perhaps a touch of green. Nothing obscene. The walks, walking away from something, from someone, as my head gets carried away, but not the thoughts. Life consists of holograms. The glimpse of light through the trees will never recur in the same way on any other given Tuesday. The difference lies in the meeting between the light and your retina. It's not divine, it's a fact. Don't dwell on the past, even if the bridge you are standing on has a painted patina. It might just be from yesterday. Soul. Am. The word is feminine, as well as a homonym for my new French name, Anne. Je suis Anne. I am. Unafraid of the N. The N in normal. The N in new. The N in the now. The N in the night. The end without a proper source of light, but rather a dim filter. The world is blank, 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 beyond the simplicity of black and white. Instead, it is you yourself who supplies the color. It's not about having favorites. Favorite colors, favorite people, favorite places, favorite numbers, favorite parts of their body. It's a whole you can never comprehend fully, even if you know it's a whole. Like Google Maps, showing only a fraction of the situation, the quarter, but not much else. But nobody wants to unfold a large folded piece of paper in order to get around in quarters. Favorites, suggestions, links, likes, hearts. These are not the words I'm looking for, but they will do. Where to find the words, if not in fragments? Like, finish off this sentence. I would like.
Until now was like, there is something there.
Vous voyez, ça c'est la station spatiale internationale. Voilà. Apparemment, elle est encore. Voilà, et là.
Alors, c'est que c'est mon film qui déteste le et que je t'ai censé jouer.
Each friend of mine known my entire life.
Ja, mir ist schon mal
Freund, der relationship with, you know, about his father, the
the
restaurants.
And she was like, okay, we're going to, you know how it's Rome.
Yeah.
Like, it's worse than Paris at this point of view. So we have to get to these restaurants with these friends or these VIP things, stuff. And it was like, okay, you go. He's an open mind.
Yeah, I know.
I'm acting like a sister with him, I don't know why, but he's a very open mind guy, so just, you go. But I'm not coming because I cannot pay for it, so I'm not. She was like, no, you have to come. I was like, no.
But to understand,
Ouais, le motovisé, ouais.
T'as des points de strap.